Hello. So, yeah, it's been, just a minute, not long at all, since I recorded the last video. So that's an upswing, I say. That's that's a really good thing because I was actually expecting to hurry up and record this video and have this video completely done and have this maybe even have this spray painted and matted, um, whatnot, what have you. Basically have this painting shellacked by now, but guess the universe had other plans. So yeah, I don't know if this is a good idea. I don't know if this is a good idea at all, but I'm gonna go ahead and put light blue and then I'm gonna put dark blue. So even though this is such a dark green, I'm gonna put light blue next to it. So we'll see how it goes. Oh no. Oh yay. For a minute there I was worried that I didn't have light blue anymore. I was like, oh no. Always sucks when you go to use your paint and you find out that it's dried out, which is a big problem and a big worry with acrylics. So you can return to them and find out that they're completely dried out and no longer usable, completely crusted over. Same with your paintbrushes. Supposedly that can happen too with oils, but oils take so long to dry that, you know, I don't know how. I mean, you probably have to leave your oil brushes sitting with the oil paint on them for months at a time because supposedly it takes months for oil paint to dry. So unless a smaller amount of oil paint, you know, dries more quickly, which is always the way it is with a head of a brush. Try to keep my arm up and keep from. And, I wasn't going to film the rest of this process, but I'm so close to being done, I might as well, in just these quick little 15-minute increments. I hope to be able to get to filming other things. Here too, my tarot cards and whatnot. Which, if I get to, I will actually talk more about stuff like that while I'm painting here. Because I would much rather talk about deep subjects and whatnot than. And speaking of deep subjects, so in the last video, I was talking about how, my mom talks about this all the time, how it is when you're young, how you want to get out of the house. And yeah, that is very true. And you just want to get the heck away. Well, for me, there was more to it than that. My parents they both collectively lost their minds. So that was not fun. But I won't get into that. But dealing on the subject of my mother's hoarding. So when we were kids, as all parents do, they would get, except my parents, they would get especially angry about the state of our bedroom and the state of the house. And looking back, I end up realizing that the state of the house was actually my mother's fault. It was, it wasn't like toys laying around and stuff. It was actually, there weren't any toys anywhere because they didn't have any money to buy us toys. What was laying around was literally stuff that should have been thrown out. It was literally trash. Except I didn't, I mean, later on when I was 12, I ended up realizing, this is all trash. We need to throw it out. But anytime I tried throwing anything out, damn, I get beaten bad. Just, because I was, quote, wasting money. But we weren't allowed to use any of the items either, because that's wasting money, because using an item uses it up. It doesn't matter what it is, even food, you know. So And interestingly enough, my sister is very much, she has the hoarding disease herself. My brother has elements of it. I don't know if my brother is like that because he was raised like that. But just recently, I ended up realizing that my sister, she does have the, I don't know what to call it, the genetic glitch. Me, I have full blown OCD. Now, hoarding is a cousin. It's a cousin to OCD because it is a obsessive compulsive behavior, but it's not the full blown touching doorknobs, washing your hands thing. I have the full blown. On the street, it's known as touching, touching doorknobs and washing your hands. It's not actually, I mean, it is like that, but it's not. It's not, in all honesty, it's not a thing like that in real life. So, and from my experience, OCD can actually roll right. If it gets severe enough, it can roll right over into um, textbook definition of a psychosis, where because that's the state that I was in when my parents, they had to file for bankruptcy and they decided to blame it on me specifically. I don't know why. I don't know. I mean, I'm not one of those kids that has anything to do with their finances. And not only that, but it was the 90s and there was no computers. We didn't even have a computer. There was no such thing as smartphones. You know, literally, if you wanted to have a phone, you had to have another phone line brought into the house. It was all landlines. There was nothing wireless. It's not like my parents had these massive satellite phones that were absolute bricks. We had a next door neighbor that actually had that, but she worked as a secretary for the hospital. And apparently the hospital actually gave her that for her car. I don't know why, but there you go. So that was something that only the extremely rich and elite had, was those great big satellite phones that were absolute bricks. So, don't think that everyone had that. I mean, it was a different world back then. I'll tell you that. No one had water bottles. There were drinking fountains that you would go to if you were thirsty. That's just the way it was. And yes, everybody and their brother would always get, you know, oh, what is it? Cold sores from it. Ugh. I never drank out of those things, but I ended up having all kinds of cold sores anyway. It was just awful. Oh, darn. Oh, man. Okay, so this blue is, ugh, it's so old that it's separated. So, yeah, oh man. I You know what? This blue is so old and so nasty. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to try to paint this. But I'm going to put some onto a palette. You know what? This paint is actually younger than the dishwasher that we just had to get rid of. And actually it's younger than all the appliances that we had to get rid of just recently here. I think it's even younger than the kitchen faucet that just broke on us. So I'm an old person painting with old stuff, to say the least. Okay. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to use this paint palette. And hope to God. I don't know what's going to come out of this tube, but it is. Ooh. Oh, yeah, that's a bit dry, to say the least. That's some dry stuff. Sorry, I need to do this on camera. This is some dry. It's turned into like a gelatin. Ooh, and it smells bad. It's literally turned into like a gelatin. That's interesting. Makes me wonder what the heck it's made out of, or at least what the components are in it. This is literally like a gelatin. Ooh. Okay. Okay, it can be reconstituted. I don't know how dark this is gonna be. I'm thinking that this is gonna be like, I mean, this is even worse than the flesh color, as they call it. Flesh sounds so Halloweeny, you know? Honestly, it's not flesh, it's peach. Because I mean, I'm a white person, and look at that. That doesn't, I mean, it's similar to my skin color, but it's actually darker and warmer than my skin color. It's more red, arguably. I mean, I would call it flesh, but it needs to be like a lot of white needs to be brought into it. Flesh just sounds so gothic and just so creepy and just like flesh, flesh paint. Would you like some flesh paint? It's like, no, no, thank you. That, no. God, please, no. You know, we're gonna paint with flesh now. That sounds deeply disturbing and sexual all at once. It's like, oh God, please. No. You know, sorry if I'm nauseating anyone. I don't mean to be. But that's the other problem with the color flesh. It's like they didn't have any colors for, all the other skin colors. You know, black people, brown people, Asian people, just it's like if you're going to go with the term flesh, you need to like, that sounds so bad, but open up. No, that's so wrong. That's so wrong. You need to expand, open up, expand your repertoire. Oh Jesus. That sounds awful. I need to stop talking about paint. So I'm gonna, this flesh color, even though they call it flesh and the Reeves paint, I'm gonna call it peach because that's literally what it is. It's peach. You know, I'm a white person and I'd call that peach. You know, it's peach. It's peach. Peach sounds so much better than flesh. Flesh just sounds like something you dragged out of a body chipper. I don't know. I don't even know. I don't. Oh, that just. Oh. Oh, thoughts of Fargo and crap like that. Oh God. Oh, moving on. moving back on to my mother's hoarding. Oh God. It's kind of interesting all the weird twists, machinations that conversation can take. And just using the word machinations doesn't help. To really change the subject, I am painting during the day. I'm painting on the only chance that I had here, a weekend. You know, during daylight hours, because I found out that it actually looks a lot better on camera. Yeah, see, this blue is so pale. It's so pale and it's so streaky. Ugh. But yeah, I'm painting on Sunday actually. What day is it today? I'm painting Sunday, February 19th at 3:22 p.m. for this video at least. Oh my god, it's at 13 minutes already. So, yeah. Oh, the other paints, they were getting to me a little bit. They didn't smell that bad. They don't smell great, but they didn't smell terrible. But I gotta tell you, this mm, mm, mm. This separated blue, this gelatinized blue is, oh yeah, it's turning out like the peach. But it smells bad. The peach smelled bad too. The flesh color smelled bad. That sounds so awful. The flesh smelled terrible. The peach color smelled terrible too, but man, this blue, it is outdoing the peach color by a mile. It is I almost want to put on a mask cuz this is bad. This smell. It does not smell good. It smells like a boatload of chemicals. It really does. Really unfortunate, but it does. And oh god, god damn. I think I might add just a hint of white to this just to try to make it a little bit better, but most importantly, make it, oh god, make it more opaque. Yeah. This thing, it's smelling so bad that it's kind of starting to give me a headache. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stop this video and get myself a mask because this ain't cool. This ain't cool at all. You know, teenager paint is what I call this. Kids paint, hobbyist paint, whatever you want to call it. It is not supposed to be making you sick. And this is making me feel sick. This blue. The other paint was okay, but this stuff ain't cool. It ain't cool by a mile. So, damn, dude. So sorry the conversation got completely derailed by this really bad blue. But at least I'm talking about art now. So, and we're at the 16-minute mark anyway, so yeah. I'm going to let things air out and then I'll try to finish this painting up somehow. So, bye.